begin with prayers. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatyuttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Creation, Chapter 3, entitled Krishna is the source of all incarnations. Text 18. Chaturdasham Narasimham Vibhrad Daityendramurjitam Dadara Karajair Urav Erakam Katakrityatha. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace. Sorry, there is no purport. Translation by His Divine Grace Abhay Charanaravinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada. Srila Suta Goswami continued. In the 14th incarnation, the Lord appeared as Narasimha and bifurcated the strong body of the atheist Hiranyakashipu with his nails, just as a carpenter pierces cane. So, we have been reading this third chapter of the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, where different incarnations of the Supreme Lord are briefly mentioned by Srila Suta Goswami. And in today's verse, we are reading about Lord Narasimhadeva. Chaturdasham Narasimham. Chaturdasham means the 14th in the list that is described here. 14th incarnation, as per this list, is Narasimhadeva. Bibhrat. Bibhrat means he appeared, he advented. Daityendram Urjitam Dadara Karajair Urav. Daityendram. Daitya, Indra. Indra means king. Daitya means the son of Diti. Diti is the wife of one of the wives of Kashyapa Prajapati, and the sons of Kashyapa and Diti, they are known as Daityas. And the king of the Daityas, Hiranyakashipu, he was killed by this particular incarnation of the Supreme Lord called Narasimhadeva, and he was Dadara, means he was bifurcated. Lord Narasimhadeva, with his Karajaihi, Kara means hands, Ja means to take birth. What takes birth in our fingers, in our hands? That is nails, right? So, without using any weapons, Lord Narasimhadeva used his sharp nails and he bifurcated the body of this Hiranyakashipu, Daityendra Hiranyakashipu, by placing him on his Urav, on his lap. Urav means lap. And a very beautiful analogy has been given here. How did Lord Narasimhadeva use his sharp nails to bifurcate the body of Daityendra Hiranyakashipu? He did it just like a carpenter pierces cane. We know carpenters make various kinds of furniture using wood and sometimes also using bamboo cane. And they bifurcate the cane into many parts, two parts or many parts, while making the furniture. So in the same way, katakrit yatha, katakrit means carpenter. Just like a carpenter uh, pierces or cuts the cane, in the same way, the Supreme Lord Narasimhadeva bifurcated the strong body of the atheist Hiranyakashipu with his nails. Right? So here a very brief description is given about Lord Narasimhadeva. So let us go to the seventh canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, where detailed description of Lord Narasimhadeva has been given. So we are going to read some portion of the, I think this is the seventh chapter of the seventh canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Just what really happened when Lord Narasimhadeva appeared from the pillar. What was the conversation between Hiranyakashipu, Daityendra, and his son Prahlad Maharaj, who is a Mahajana, a pure devotee of the Supreme Lord. Verse 5 onwards, we will be reading. Shri Hiranyakashipur Uvacha He Durvinita Mandatman Kulabheda Karadhama Stabdham Machasano Neshe Twadhyayamakshayam. Hiranyakashipu said, O most impudent, most unintelligent disruptor of the family, O lowest of mankind, you have violated my power to rule you, and therefore you are an obstinate fool. Today I shall send you to the place of Yamaraja. So here, very interesting, when Hiranyakashipu repeatedly forbid Prahlad Maharaj from being a devotee of the Supreme Lord, and Prahlad Maharaj did not listen to his words, then Hiranyakashipu used physical torturing methods to scare the boy so that he will give up chanting the holy names of the Lord. Actually, Hiranyakashipu was thinking that Lord Vishnu is his enemy because Lord Vishnu, in the form of Varahadeva, had killed his younger brother Hiranyaksha. Therefore, Hiranyakashipu was maintaining enmity, a grudge in his heart, and he was deeply thinking that Lord Vishnu is his greatest enemy. And he wanted to take revenge against Lord Vishnu. But when he saw that his own son, who is just a 5-year-old boy, is chanting the holy names of Lord Vishnu, he became furious. He became very angry. So he tried to change the mind of his son, Prahlada. But Prahlad Maharaj was a pure devotee of the Lord. He had heard about the glories of the Supreme Lord and the process of devotional service from the great sage Narad Muni, even when he was in the womb of his mother. He had become fixed up in devotional service because of the association of such a great exalted devotee, Narad Muni. And he was not ready to listen to the words of his demoniac father, Hiranyakashipu. So this enraged Hiranyakashipu, and Hiranyakashipu tried so many ways to kill him. He was actually thrown into a pit of poisonous snakes, but nothing happened to him. He was actually put under the feet of an elephant. The elephants did not do any harm to this boy, Prahalada. And then he was even given poison to drink, but nothing, the poison did not affect Prahalad Maharaj. He was thrown into fire. The fire did not burn the body of Prahalad Maharaj. He was thrown from the top of a cliff, from the top of a hill, but he was unharmed. And even the weapons of the soldiers of Hiranyakashipu could not pierce the body of Prahlad Maharaj. So when all his efforts failed to kill his son Prahlada, that is when Hiranyakashipu spoke this verse. He's saying, "O impudent," is Durvinita. Vinita means one who is very obedient. Durvinita means one who is not obedient, one who is impudent. So Hiranyakashipu is addressing his son Prahlada as Durvinita, O most impudent, most unintelligent disruptor of the family, O lowest of mankind. So look at what words Hiranyakashipu is using towards Prahlada. All this actually apply to Hiranyakashipu himself, not to his devotee son Prahlada. But since he was a demon, he was maintaining an inimical attitude towards the Lord and his devotees. So he is considering his son, who has become a devotee of Lord Narayana, whom he considers to be his greatest enemy, and he is addressing his son as Naradhama, the lowest of mankind, right? Adhama. You have violated my power to rule you, and therefore you are an obstinate fool. Today I shall send you to the place of Yamaraja. So today, personally, I will kill you. This is what Hiranyakashipu said. Hiranyakashipu further said, my son Prahlada, you rascal, you know that when I am angry, all the planets of the three worlds tremble along with their chief rulers. By whose power has a rascal like you become so impudent that you appear fearless and overstep my power to rule you? So he's saying, how have you become so powerful? How dare you are disobeying my orders? My orders are not disobeyed even by the great devatas and the rulers of the various planets of the three worlds. By which power, by whose power you have become so impudent that you are disobeying my orders? These were the words spoken by Hiranyakashipu. So let's see what is the reply of Prahlad Maharaj. So Prahlad Maharaj said, my dear king, the source of my strength, of which you are asking, is also the source of yours. Indeed, the original source of all kinds of strength is one. He is not only your strength or mine, but the only strength for everyone. Without him, no one can get any strength. Whether moving or not moving, superior or inferior, anyone, including Lord Brahma, is controlled by the strength of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we can just imagine the kind of conviction and fearlessness that Prahlad Maharaj had, even though he was a small boy of only 5 years old. You see, he's saying, Na kevalam me bhavatascha rajan, savai balam balinam chaparesham, parevare ami sthira jangama ye brahmadayo yena vasham pranitaha. He's saying, my dear father, of course, he's not addressing as my dear father, he's addressing him as, O Rajan, O king, O best of the demons. You're asking about what is the source of my strength? Let me tell you, not only my strength, the strength of everyone in this world. There is a common source, and that is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is the source of your strength, my strength, and not only that, he is the source of strength of Lord Brahma, who gave you benedictions and because of which you have become so proud and so powerful. Even Brahma gets his power from that Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose devotee I have become. So these are the words of Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj continued, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the supreme controller and time factor, is the power of the senses, the power of the mind, the power of the body, and the vital force of the senses. His influence is unlimited. He is the best of all living entities, the controller of the three modes of material nature. By his own power, he creates this cosmic manifestation, maintains it, and annihilates it also. So Prahlad Maharaj is describing further about the Supreme Lord. So he's saying, Sa Ishvara Kala Urukramo Sav Ojas Sah Sattva. Urukrama, the Lord is called Urukrama. Urukrama means one who performs wonderful activities. one whose activities cannot be imitated by anyone ordinary. He is called Urukrama. And he is the source of our strength. All our senses, and the body, the vital force, the mind, all of these are empowered by the Supreme Lord. In other words, Prahlad Maharaj is saying, "Oh, my dear father Hiranyakashipu, you are so proud of the power of your body, no? And this body strength is actually coming from Lord Vishnu. And he is, and if he wills, he can just take away the life force from your body, and in no time, you will be a dead body. So why don't you accept him as your master? He is the time factor himself. He is Kala himself, and his influence is unlimited. And by his will, he creates, maintains, and destroys this entire cosmic manifestation. That is the Lord whom I am worshipping." Prahlad Maharaj continued, "My dear father, please give up your demoniac mentality. Do not discriminate in your heart between enemies and friends. Make your mind equipoised toward everyone. Except for the uncontrolled and misguided mind, there is no enemy within this world. When one sees everyone on the platform of equality, one then comes to the position of worshipping the Lord perfectly." See, Prahlad Maharaj, being a 5-year-old boy, his enlightenment, his knowledge is so deep that he is able to give instruction to Hiranyakashipu, who had brought the whole universe under his control. It is said in the Bhagavatam, except for the Trimurtis, Brahma, Vishnu, and Lord Shiva, everyone had come under the control of Hiranyakashipu. In fact, it is said just by moving his eyebrows, Hiranyakashipu was controlling the great devatas. That was his position. He had terrorized the whole world, but Prahlad Maharaj was standing fearlessly in front of the greatest terrorist, and he is speaking the absolute truth. Now, this is the nature of a pure devotee. A pure devotee, since he has taken complete shelter at the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, he is perfectly fearless in all situations. Govinda Das Thakur, a great Vaishnava Acharya, has composed a beautiful song, Bhajahure Mana Sri Nanda Nandana Abhaya Charanara Vindare Durlabha Manava Janama Satsange Taroho E Bhava Sindhure. So, this Govinda Das Thakur is saying, Bhajahure Mana Sri Nanda Nandana. O Mana, O mind, please worship, please surrender to whom? Sri Nanda Nandana Abhaya Charanaravinda. Please surrender to the lotus feet of the son of Nanda Maharaj, because these lotus feet can award us complete fearlessness. The lotus feet of Lord Krishna are known as Abhaya Charanaravinda. Abhaya means fearlessness. So since Prahlad Maharaj had taken complete shelter at the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who can award fearlessness to the surrendered souls, Prahlad Maharaj was not at all afraid of Hiranyakashipu. So he was boldly speaking the truth. So he was saying, see, why are you considering Lord Vishnu to be your enemy? Make your mind equipoised. Lord Vishnu is our supreme well-wisher. Nate viduhu swartha gatim hi Vishnum. These are also the words of Prahlad Maharaj. Conditioned souls in this material world do not know that their real self-interest lies in surrendering to Lord Vishnu. So now also Prahlad Maharaj is repeating the same thing. Your uncontrolled mind is your greatest enemy, O King Hiranyakashipu. You might have conquered the whole world, but you have not conquered your senses and your mind. And that is why you are disturbed. That is why you are not peaceful. Even though you have the wealth of the whole world, you are not peaceful because you have not conquered your senses and your mind. So please give up this enmity towards Lord Vishnu and Please come to the position of worshipping the Supreme Lord. So, this is actually the duty of a putra. Punnama naraka trayate iti putra. Putra means one who saves his parents from falling down to hellish regions. So, if a son or a daughter becomes a devotee of the Supreme Lord, then they are really putra. Because, like Prahlada, even though Hiranyakashipu was not a devotee of the Supreme Lord, because Prahlada was a pure devotee, because of the devotional service of Prahlad Maharaj, the Lord awarded liberation to the demoniac Hiranyakashipu. So, and as long as it is possible, Prahlad Maharaj was trying his best to actually make his father also understand the importance of Krishna consciousness. This is the duty of a son. So, Prahlad Maharaj is saying, please become a devotee, control your mind, give up this so called friendship and enmity, this duality. You consider Lord Vishnu to be your best friend, and immediately you will attain peace. So Prahlad Maharaj continued, in former times there were many fools like you who did not conquer the six enemies that steal away the wealth of the body. These fools were very proud, thinking, I have conquered all enemies in all the 10 directions. But if a person is victorious over the six enemies and is equipoised toward all living entities, for him there are no enemies. Enemies are merely imagined by one in ignorance. See the words, the beautiful instructions of Prahlad Maharaj to his father. In the past, also, there were many kings who were also proud like you. They had conquered all the entire universe and they were very proud, but they had not controlled their six enemies. Ari Shadvarga. Ari means enemies, Shadvarga means six. So, which are the six enemies of the soul? Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. Kama means lust, Krodha means anger, Lobha means, greed. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Mada means pride, Moha, illusion, and Matsarya means envy. So these are the six enemies of the soul. And Prahlad Maharaj is saying, until one conquers these six enemies, one cannot be peaceful. So, your so called imagined enemy that you're thinking that Lord Vishnu and the Vaishnavas are your enemies, that is simply because of your ignorance, Prahlad Maharaj is saying. And Prahlad Maharaj is addressing his father, Hiranyakashipu, here as fool. Fool. That means Prahlad Maharaj, you can just imagine how he is completely fearless of the demon Hiranyakashipu. Let's see what's the reply of Hiranyakashipu to this. Hiranyakashipu replied, you rascal, you are trying to minimize my value as if you were better than me at controlling the senses. This is over intelligent. I can therefore understand that you desire to die at my hands. For this kind of nonsensical talk is indulged in by those about to die. So Hiranyakashipu is thinking that the death of Prahlada is in his own hands, is in the hands of Hiranyakashipu. That is his ignorance. So he's saying, oh, you think you are a better controller of senses than me? Hiranyakashipu is thinking like that. Actually, every materialistic person in this world thinks that he is actually very well situated. He does not need any good instructions from anybody. He thinks that I'm very nicely earning money, I'm providing for all the comforts for my family members, and in this way I am a successful person. This is what materialistic people like Hiranyakashipu think. And Prabhupada points out Hiranyakashipu. Hiranya means gold, wealth. Kashipu means soft bedding. Materialistic people are always working hard to get these two things: how to earn lot of wealth and how to enjoy nice material. This is the thinking of Hiranyakashipu. And thinking, what is this after all, small bacha Prahlada? He is instructing me. I think now your end time has come. I'm going to kill you. He says, O most unfortunate Prahlada, you have always described a supreme being other than me, a supreme being who is above everything, who is the controller of everyone, and who is all pervading. But where is he? If he is everywhere, then why is he not present before me in this pillar? This is the so you said God is everywhere, your Krishna is everywhere. Is he there in this pillar? Because you are speaking so much nonsense, I shall now sever your head from your body. Now let me see your most worshipable God come to protect you. I want to see it. So he was so eager. He said, your God is present everywhere. Now I'll try to kill you. Let us see who will come and protect you. Being obsessed with anger, Hiranyakashipu, who was very great in bodily strength, thus chastised his exalted devotee son Prahlada with harsh words. Cursing him again and again, Hiranyakashipu took up his sword, got up from his royal throne, and with great anger struck his fist against the column. Column means the pillar. So with great anger he came and struck the pillar. Then from within the pillar, it's very beautiful. Let us read the Sanskrit verse also. Tadaiva tasminninadoti bhishano babhuva yenandakataham aspuptat yam vai swadishnyopagatam tvajadayah shrutva swadhamatyayam angame nire. So very beautiful. Then from within the pillar came a fearful sound which appeared to crack the covering of the universe. Narad Muni is telling this to Yudhishthir Maharaj. Oh my dear Yudhishthira, this sound reached even the abodes of the demigods like Lord Brahma. And when the demigods heard it, they thought, oh, now our planets are being destroyed. So just by the cracking sound of the pillar, all the residents of all the planetary systems, including the Devatas, they were all afraid. Right? Then what happened? While showing his extraordinary prowess, Hiranyakashipu, who desired to kill his own son, heard that wonderful tumultuous sound which had never been heard before. Upon hearing the sound, the other leaders of the demons were afraid. None of them could find the origin of that sound in the assembly. They were all wondering, where is this sound coming? Hiranyakashipu also heard that wonderful sound. He had never heard that kind of a sound before. So everybody was afraid, including Hiranyakashipu. They were all figuring out, where is this sound coming from? And then a very beautiful verse, Narad Muni speaks, Satyam vidhatum nijabhritya bhashitam vyaptim cha bhuteshva khileshu chatmanaha adrushyatatyaadbhutarupamudvahan stambhe sabhayam namrugam namanusham. So this verse describes the purpose of Lord Narasimhadeva appearing from the pillar. Right? He says, to prove that the statement of his servant Prahlad Maharaj was substantial, in other words, to prove that the Supreme Lord is present everywhere, even within the pillar of an assembly hall, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari, exhibited a wonderful form never before seen. The form was neither that of a man nor that of a lion. Thus the Lord appeared in his wonderful form in the assembly hall. Let's read the purport by Srila Prabhupada. When Hiranyakashipu asked Prahlad Maharaj, where is your Lord? Is he present in this pillar? Prahlad Maharaj fearlessly replied, yes, my Lord is present everywhere. Therefore, to convince Hiranyakashipu that the statement of Prahlad Maharaj was unmistakably true, the Lord appeared from the pillar. The Lord appeared as half lion and half man, so that Hiranyakashipu could not understand whether the great giant was a lion or a human being. To substantiate Prahlada's statement, the Lord proved that his devotee, as declared in Bhagavad Gita, is never vanquished. Kaunteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashyati. Prahlad Maharaj's demoniac father had repeatedly threatened to kill Prahlada, but Prahlada was confident that he could not be killed since he was protected by the Supreme Lord. By appearing from the pillar, the Lord encouraged his devotee, saying, in effect, don't worry, I am present here. By manifesting his form as Narasimhadeva, the Lord also preserved the truth of Lord Brahma's promise that Hiranyakashipu was not to be killed by any animal or any man. The Lord appeared in a form that could not be said to be fully a man or a lion. Thus ends the Bhakti Vedanta purport. So, Satyam Vidhatum Nijabhritya Bhashitam. To prove the words spoken by his Nijabhritya, his personal servant, to be true, Satyam Vidhatum. Vyaptim cha bhuteshu akhileshu chatmanaha. Even though the Supreme Lord is present everywhere in the entire existence, in every atom he is present, akhileshu bhuteshu cha atmanaha, he is present within the hearts of every living entity. Still, adrishyatat adbhuta rupam udvahan. He accepted a very wonderful form, adbhuta rupam, which was adrishya, which was not seen before by anybody, right? And then, stambhe sabhayam, he appeared from within the pillar of that assembly of the palace of Hiranyakashipu, and his form was namrugam namanusham. He was not completely lion, nor he was completely a human being. This was the wonderful form of Lord Narasimhadeva. So, from the appearance of Lord Narasimhadeva, the Lord wanted to prove the words of his pure devotee Prahlad Maharaj to be true. When Hiranyakashipu asked, is your God present in this pillar? Without any doubt, confidently, Prahlad Maharaj said, yes, my Lord is present everywhere. I'm able to see him face to face. He is definitely present in this pillar, and I'm able to see that. So Prahlad Maharaj was confident. And therefore, to prove his words true, the Lord appeared from the pillar. Right? And also, previously, Lord Brahma, another Bhritya means servant, another Bhritya of the Supreme Lord Brahma had given certain benedictions to Hiranyakashipu, saying that you will not be killed by any human being or any animal. To prove the words of Lord Brahma, who is also a dear devotee, servant of the Supreme Lord appeared in this peculiar form, Namrugam Namanusham. And also, the four Kumaras had actually cursed Jaya and Vijaya to be born as human beings in the material world, and Lord Vishnu had assured them that they will be appearing as demons in 3 incarnations, and each time the Lord would personally advent and kill them and thus liberate them. To prove the words of another set of devotees, Nijabhritya, that is the 4 Kumaras, to be true, the Lord appeared as Narasimhadeva and to kill this Hiranyakashipu. Not only that, to prove the words of Narad Muni. Narad Muni had instructed Prahlad Maharaj when he was in the womb of his mother that the Lord is present everywhere and you simply become his devotee, the Lord will give you all protection. To prove the words of Narad Muni to be true, the Lord appeared from the pillar. You see, Nija Bhritya Bhashitam Satyam Vidhatum. So here the Lord appeared from the pillar in a peculiar form to prove the words of 4 of his devotees to be true. Prahlad Maharaj, Lord Brahma, the 4 Kumaras, and Narad Muni. The Lord likes his pure devotees so much that he never lets the words spoken by his pure devotees go in vain. Right? So the Lord sometimes breaks his own words in order to prove the words of his pure devotees to be true. And Prabhupada quotes from the purport a verse from the Bhagavad Gita where Lord Krishna tells Arjuna that Kaunteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashyati. O son of Kunti Arjuna, declare it boldly to the world that my devotee shall never perish. Right? So the Lord could himself have declared, isn't it? Why did he ask Arjuna to declare this? Because sometimes the Lord, in order to keep up the words of his devotees, may break his own promise. But when a devotee declares, when a pure devotee says something, the Lord will make sure that in all circumstances, the pure devotee's words are not violated. We see in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, in order to, you know, make Arjuna fight against Bhishma, once when he saw that Arjuna is not at all fighting against Bhishma very nicely, he is having a soft corner for his grandfather. That time, Lord Krishna personally got down from the chariot and he took the broken wheel of a chariot and he rushed towards Bhishma Deva to kill him. He said, I will kill you today. Earlier, the same Lord Krishna had taken a vow that he will never use any weapon on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Now he broke his own promise. Why? Because the previous day, Bhishma Deva had taken a terrible vow that tomorrow I will either kill Arjuna or I will force Krishna to break his vow that he will not take any weapon on the battlefield. So this he had told to Duryodhana, and he had taken a vow like that. And Bhishma is known for terrible vows and promises, isn't it? So the next day, the Lord himself took up a chariot wheel. That is why the Lord got a name Rathanga Pani. Ratha Anga. Anga means part of a Ratha, chariot. So there was a broken chariot on the battlefield, and the Lord went there, took the Rathanga, the chariot wheel of that broken chariot, and in his hands, Pani means in his hands, and he rushed towards Bhishma Deva. And what was the response of Bhishma Deva? He laid down his weapons and surrendered, raising his both hands. Oh, what a glorious death I'm going to meet. The Supreme Lord himself is going to kill me. That's going to be a glorious death for me. And then from behind, Arjuna got down from the chariot, running towards Krishna, and he caught hold of the legs of Krishna. Oh, Krishna, please, for my sake, you are breaking your promise. Please do not do such a thing. It will be an infamy for me. I am your friend and your devotee. So I'm very sorry. I will fight nicely with Bhishma. So in that way, the Lord was pacified and Arjuna resumed fighting. So from this incident, we understand that the Lord sometimes breaks his own promise in order to keep up the words of his pure devotee. So in this case, Bhishma Deva was his pure devotee. So in order to keep up the word of honor of Bhishma Deva and in order to save the life of Arjuna, Krishna broke his own promise. That is why Krishna said, Kaunteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashyati. Oh Arjuna, you declare boldly to the world that anybody who surrenders to me, he never perishes. I will personally protect him. Isn't it? So the appearance of Lord Narasimhadeva in such a wonderful form from the pillar of the assembly hall proves beyond a doubt that the Lord is ever ready to give protection to the surrendered souls. The Lord, he has taken up a vrata, as it is mentioned in the Valmiki Ramayana. Prabhupada quotes this verse in the Chaitanya Charitamrita also, that which says, Lord Ramachandra says, anyone who comes to me once, Sakradeva Prapanno, Yas Tavasmi Titayachate, Abhayam Sarva Bhutebhyo, Tadamyetad Vratam Mama, Mama Vrata. Ramachandra says, what is my vrata? My vow is that anyone who comes to me just once and tells me, oh Lord, from today I belong to you. From that day onwards, it becomes my vow, my duty to give full protection to such a surrendered soul. That is why the Lord is called Sharanagata Vatsala. He is called Bhakta Vatsala, the protector of his surrendered devotees. So following in the footsteps of Prahlad Maharaj, we must also surrender to the Supreme Lord. Then we must have full conviction. Even though we may go through a lot of difficulties, we must have full conviction that yes, the Lord will surely protect me. This is what we should learn from the appearance of Lord Narasimhadeva. So, in a very few days from now, we are going to celebrate Narasimha Chaturdashi, the appearance day of Lord Narasimhadeva. And what should be our mood while we are celebrating Narasimhadeva appearance? It's not just another festival. It is meant to develop this feeling, this complete surrender at the lotus feet of the Lord that Prahlad Maharaj had. We should develop determination in devotional service, full confidence in the Lord's protection. This is how we should celebrate Narsimha Jayanti, isn't it? And on the day of Narsimha Jayanti, Narsimha Chaturdashi, it is recommended to observe a full fast till dusk, till the time when Lord Narasimhadeva appears, that is till dusk, just before sunset. And whenever such festivals are there, fasting is recommended. Why fasting is recommended? So that we can control our senses and the mind. This is what Prahlad Maharaj said. Until we actually control our senses and mind, it is not possible to realize the Supreme Lord. We cannot say, I will lavishly, I will engage in sense gratification and side by side I should also realize the Supreme Lord. No, that is not possible at all. Both are uh, dead opposite to each other. So if we want to actually become a devotee like Prahlad Maharaj, we must curb our restless senses and the mind by engaging more and more in devotional activities like chanting and hearing. And that is why it is recommended to observe fasting. Right? When our senses are not fed, they cannot disturb us. They become weak. And of course, simply fasting will not help. Upavasa means to come closer to the Lord. So, along with fasting, we must increase our devotional service. We should do more Shravanam, more Kirtanam. That is real fasting. So, let us all prepare mentally, spiritually, to observe full fasting on the day of Narasimha Chaturdashi, which is going to come very soon. And let us also pray to Prahlad Maharaj to give us determination in devotional service. So this was about Narasimhadeva. So let us go to the next shloka. The very interesting thing is, the shloka says, the 18th shloka which we read about Narasimhadeva, Chaturdasham Narasimham Bibhrad Daityendram Urjitam. This, in the list of incarnations that Suta Goswami mentions about Narasimhadeva, Lord Narasimhadeva is 14 in the list. And interestingly, coincidentally, the Lord also appeared on the 14th day, that is Chaturdashi. That's why we call it as Narasimha Chaturdashi. Okay, let's go to the 19th shloka of the first canto, third chapter. Panchadasham Vamanakam Kritva Gadadhvaram Balehe Padatrayam Yachamanaha Pratyaditsustritishtapam. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Abhay Charanaravinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation, Srila Suta Goswami continued, in the 15th incarnation, the Lord assumed the form of a dwarf Brahmana, Vamana, and visited the arena of sacrifice arranged by Maharaj Bali. Although at heart he was willing to regain the kingdom of the three planetary systems, he simply asked for a donation of 3 steps of land. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The Almighty God can bestow upon anyone the kingdom of the universe from a very small beginning, and similarly, He can take away the kingdom of the universe on the plea of begging a small piece of land. Thus ends the Bhakti Vedanta purport. So, the 15th incarnation is Lord Vamanadeva. We also celebrate the appearance of Vamanadeva during the month of September. So, Panchadasham Vamanakam. So this is 15th in the list. Panchadasham means 15th. Kritva Agad Advaram Balehe. Kritva Agat. Agat Advaram. Kritva means by assuming a form. So the Lord assumed a form of Vamana. Vamana means dwarf. One who is not fully grown. One who is dwarf. Right? That is Vamana. And then Agat Advaram. Advaram means the arena of sacrifice. Agat means he went. The Lord assumed the form of a dwarf Brahmana and he went to the sacrificial arena of Maharaj Bali. And what did he ask? Padatrayam yachamanaha. Yachamanaha means he begged. What did he beg? Padatrayam. He begged for 3 paces of land. First of all, he's so short. That means his footsteps are so small. And in his footsteps, by the measurement of his footsteps, he wanted just three paces of land. Right? But actually, that was externally he asked like that. But pratyaditus pratyaditusuhu tripishtapaha. But within his mind, in his heart, what did he actually want? Tripishtapam. He wanted the kingdom of the entire 3 planetary systems, which was occupied by Bali Maharaj. So externally, he asked that I just want 3 paces of land, but internally, within his heart, he actually wanted to regain the entire kingdom of the 3 planetary systems, which was occupied by Bali Maharaj. So that means Prabhupada explains nobody can be a better trickster than the Supreme Lord. If the Supreme Lord decides to trick somebody, no one can overcome the Lord's trick. So in this, in the Dashavatara Stotra, we very nicely, Srila Jayadev Goswami has glorified Vamanadeva. Chalayati Vikramane Balimadbhuta Vamana Padanaka Nira Janita Jana Pavana Keshava Dhruta Vamana Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Chalayati. Chala means tricking. So the Lord came to trick Bali Maharaj. Chalayati Vikramane Balin Adbhuta Vamana. His form was Adbhuta, Vamana. Initially he came as a dwarf Brahmana boy, but later he actually assumed a Trivikrama form in which he measured the whole universe with his 2 footsteps. So he measured. The Lord is Aprameya. He is immeasurable. And in this form as Trivikrama, he measured the 3 planetary systems, upper, middle, and lower, just by 2 footsteps. Right? So let us go to the 8th canto of Bhagavatam and let us see a few interesting details about Lord Vamanadeva. This is chapter 18 of the 8th canto, Lord Vamanadeva, the dwarf incarnation. We'll just read the chapter summary given by Srila Prabhupada. This chapter describes how Lord Vamanadeva appeared and how he went to the sacrificial arena of Maharaj Bali, who received him well and fulfilled his desire by offering him benedictions. Lord Vamanadeva appeared in this world from the womb of Aditi, completely equipped with conch shell, disc, club, and lotus. His bodily hue was blackish, and he was dressed in yellow garments. Lord Vishnu appeared at an auspicious moment on Shravana Dwadashi, when the Abhijit star had arisen. At that time, in all the 3 worlds, including the higher planetary system, outer space, and this earth, all the demigods, the cows, the brahmanas, and even the seasons were happy because of God's appearance. Therefore, this auspicious day is called Vijaya. When the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who has a Satchidananda body, appeared as the son of Kashyapa and Aditi, both of his parents were very astonished. After his appearance, the Lord assumed the form of a dwarf, Vamana. All the great sages expressed their jubilation, and with Kashyapa Muni before them, they performed the birthday ceremony of Lord Vamana. At the time of Lord Vamanadeva's sacred thread ceremony, he was honored by the sun god Brihaspati, the goddess presiding over the planet Earth, the deity of the heavenly planets, his mother, Lord Brahma, Kuvera, the 7 rishis, and others. Lord Vamanadeva then visited the sacrificial arena on the northern side of the Narmada river at the field known as Bhrugu Kacha, where Brahmanas of the Bhrugu dynasty were performing yajnas. Wearing a belt made of munja straw, an upper garment of deer skin, and a sacred thread, and carrying in his hands a danda, an umbrella, and a water pot or kamandalu, Lord Vamanadeva appeared in the sacrificial arena of Maharaj Bali. Because of his transcendental effulgent presence, all the priests were diminished in their prowess, and thus they all stood from their seats and offered prayers to Lord Vamanadeva. Even Lord Shiva accepts on his head the Ganges water generated from the toe of Lord Vamanadeva. Therefore, after washing the Lord's lotus feet, Bali Maharaja immediately accepted the water from the Lord's feet on his head and felt that he and his predecessors had certainly been glorified. Then Bali Maharaj inquired of Lord Vamanadeva's welfare and requested the Lord to ask him for money, jewels, or anything he might desire. So, this is the chapter summary of the Lord's appearance. So, actually, Mother Aditi had seen that Aditi is the mother of all the Devatas. Since they're all the Devatas are sons of Aditi, they are called Adityas. And Aditi is also one of the wives of Kashyapa Muni. So Kashyapa Muni had Aditi, from whom Devatas were born, as a wife. Aditi as a wife, and Diti also was another wife of Kashyapa Muni, from whom Daityas were born. So when Mother Aditi saw that Indra and all her sons were actually thrown away from from heaven by Bali Maharaja, that time Aditi became very disturbed. She was overcome by motherly sentiments, and she approached her husband, Kashyapa Muni, to tell of a way to make sure that her sons, Indra and other Devatas, would come back to the power. So Kashyapa Muni initially said, "Why are you so much worried about? These are all material sentiments. Don't worry so much. The Lord will take care. Don't worry," like that. He tried to give instructions. But Aditi was so much overpowered by her affection for her sons. So when she insisted at that time, this Kashyapa Muni instructed a vrata called as Payovrata. Payovrata means it is a vow which is performed for about 12 days. And during this, the performer of the vrata should only sustain on milk and nothing else. And she has to worship the Brahmanas, follow certain rules and regulations, and worship the Supreme Lord Vishnu by doing milk abhishekam to the Lord, to the deity of the Lord, and so on. There were many things that Kashyapa Muni instructed, and very nicely, Aditi, with great devotion in her heart for the Supreme Lord, with a desire to restore her sons back to their positions, Aditi performed the Payovrata, and she successfully executed it. And on the 12th day of this vrata, on the Dwadashi day, Shravana Masa, Dwadashi day, the Lord gave darshan. Sorry, of course, before that only the Lord gave darshan, and the Lord was pleased with the vrata devotional service offered by Aditi through this Payovrata, and the Lord assured that he will very soon appear from her own womb as her son, and he will make sure that her sons will get back their heavenly kingdom. So after many days of this, on Shravana Dwadashi day, during the Abhijit Lagna, the Supreme Lord made his appearance as Vamanadeva from the womb of Aditi. So since the Lord appeared as the son of Aditi, as a younger brother of Indra, the Lord is also known as Upendra. Upendra means the younger brother of Indra. And as soon as the Lord appeared, there was signs of victory for the Devatas everywhere. Everybody was very happy, and the nature also was very in a nice mood. So, since the Lord appeared for the victory of the Devatas, that particular day is also called as Vijaya Dwadashi, the day on which Lord Vamanadeva appeared. So, as soon as the Lord appeared, how did he appear? Not like an ordinary person. He appeared with four hands, with a bluish complexion, holding Shankha Chakra Gada Padma in his four hands, and he had a wonderful smile on his face. And as soon as the Lord appeared, immediately he transformed himself into a Brahmana boy, Vamana. And then all the Devatas appeared there. They worshipped the Lord by offering various paraphernalia. Somebody gave sacred thread, somebody gave a straw mat, somebody gave a deer skin for the Lord to wear. Some Devata brought some water to wash his feet. So, in this way, all the Devatas took the opportunity to serve the Supreme Lord in his special form as Vamana. And then, sacred thread ceremony was performed. So, it is not an elaborate avatara, unlike Krishna avatara, where elaborately the Lord performed his pastimes. Right? Here it is a quick. He appeared on the very same day, he became a boy. And on the very same day, they performed the sacred thread ceremony for him. And on that very same day, he went to the place where this Bali Maharaj was performing the sacrifices. So it was on the banks of river Narmada. That place was called Bhrugu Kacha. Prabhupada explains that presently this place is in Gujarat. It is known as Bharuch. The English people have called it as Broch or Bharuch. Bhrugu Kacha, it was the place. And Lord Vamanadeva was carrying in his hand an umbrella, and he was carrying a danda, a kamandalu, a water pot, and he was wearing an upper garment of deer skin and a sacred thread. In this way, he was also wearing a belt of straw, munja straw. This was the description. When you come to the temple on the day of Vamana Jayanti, you will see exactly in this way Krishna in Krishna Balaram altar in our temple will be decorated as Vamanadeva. So, immediately when he appeared, it is said that his effulgence was so much that all the Brahmanas who were assembled there, the Brahmanas of the Bhrugu Vamsha, who were actually guiding Bali Maharaj to perform the 100 Ashwamedha Yajnas, Vishwajit Yajna, he was called Vishwajit Yajna. He wanted to conquer the whole world. So, all the effulgence of the Brahmanas diminished because of the effulgence of the Supreme Lord. So, an example is, in the night time, when there is no sun, you will find fireflies everywhere, especially in the highways or in the gardens. You will find fireflies. So, through a process called bioluminescence, they produce some kind of a light, isn't it? So, that firefly light will be very nicely visible in the night time when there is no sun. But as soon as the sun rises in the sky during the daytime, even though those fireflies will continue to produce light, their light will not be visible. In the same way, all the Brahmanas, because of their tapas shakti, they were very effulgent, no doubt. But as soon as the Lord appeared, in front of the supreme effulgence of the Lord, all their effulgence diminished. And then Bali Maharaj personally came and he washed the lotus feet of Vamanadeva and he accepted the water on his head. And it is said here, even Lord Shiva accepted the water coming from the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord Vamanadeva. The Ganga water he accepted on his own head for his own purification. So following in the footsteps of the previous Mahajana, Lord Shiva, Bali Maharaj, who is a Mahajana, also did the same thing. So Mahajano yena gatassa panthaha. One Mahajana always follows in the footsteps of the previous Mahajana. That is why Bali Maharaj is a Mahajana. So After that, Bali Maharaj asked Vamanadeva, "O Brahmana boy, please tell me, what do you want? For what reason have you come here? You can ask anything from me, jewels, wealth, kingdom, whatever you want, I will give you. What do you want?" Right? So let's see what the Lord says. I will take another 15 minutes. So, so what did the Lord say? Let us read from another next chapter of the 8th canto of Bhagavatam. We are reading only the summary of that chapter presented in the beginning by Srila Prabhupada. So this is the 19th chapter of the 8th canto. So when Bali Maharaj, thinking Vamanadeva to be the son of a Brahmana, told him to ask for anything he liked, Lord Vamanadeva praised Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu for their heroic activities. And after thus praising the family in which Bali Maharaj had been born, he begged the king for 3 paces of land. Bali Maharaj agreed to give this land in charity since this was very insignificant. But Shukracharya, who could understand that Vamanadeva was Vishnu himself, the friend of the Devatas, forbade Bali Maharaj to give this land. Shukracharya advised Bali Maharaj to withdraw his promise. He explained that in subduing others, in joking, in responding to danger, in acting for the welfare of others, and so on, one could refuse to fulfill one's own promise, and there would be no fault. By this philosophy, Shukracharya tried to dissuade Bali Maharaj from giving land to Lord Vamanadeva. So, when Lord Vamanadeva appeared, Bali Maharaj asked, "What do you want?" He said, "I just want 3 paces of land." And by hearing this request, Bali Maharaj actually laughed. "See, you have come to the emperor of the 3 worlds. You should ask for an entire kingdom. What are you asking? You're asking just 3 paces of land, that too in the measurement of your footsteps. This is so insignificant. Now you should, if you come to Bali Maharaj and take charity, you should take so much charity that you will not need to ask anybody in the future." You see, these were the words spoken by Bali Maharaj. We can sense a kind of pride in Bali Maharaj. Actually, Bali Maharaj was a great devotee of the Supreme Lord, but he was proud. And that is why Lord Vamanadeva appeared there to show his special kindness upon his devotee. The Lord does not like his devotees to become proud. So, in order to remove the pride of Bali Maharaj, the Lord appeared as Vamana. He said, "No, my dear Lord, my dear King, Bali Maharaj, what you're saying is very nice, but I don't want any of those things which you are telling me. I just want 3 paces of land." And Lord Vamana said very interestingly, he said, "See, if a person should accept only as much as it is required for him. Otherwise, too much is too bad." So the philosophy of minimalism, which is gaining vogue in today's day, today's modern age, minimalistic lifestyle. Already Vamanadeva is telling about it long back, right? In the Treta Yuga itself, Lord Vamanadeva appeared and he told this minimalism, right? Another thing Lord Vamana said is that if a person's senses are not controlled, even if he has the entirety of all wealth within the 3 planetary systems, still he will not be satisfied. Therefore, what is the use of getting all this wealth from you? Right? So Lord Vamanadeva is telling Bali Maharaj, "See, you have conquered the whole world, whole universe you have conquered, but still you are not satisfied. You are performing Vishwajit Yagna to become more powerful. What is the use?" And Lord Vamana is teaching all of us, if our senses are not controlled, all the possessions that we possess cannot give us satisfaction. So again and again, this point is brought about in even in Narasimha Leela we talked about it. In Vamana Leela also we are talking about it, that senses and mind have to be controlled. A person who cannot control his senses and mind cannot make any progress in spiritual life, right? In fact, in any yoga system, the first principle is sense control. Patanjali Rishi, the father of yoga, he says, Yoga's chitta vritti nirodha. What is yoga? Yoga is all about chitta vritti nirodha, to curb the restless mind and the senses. So, but the modern day yoga practitioners, so called yoga gurus, they do not talk about sense control at all because people do not want to hear such sense control business, right? They don't want to follow such things. They just want to, the modern yoga gurus, so called gurus, they just want to increase their followers and through them they want to just make money, keep the followers in ignorance, and they say, oh, you can do whatever you want, whatever crazy things you want to do, and you come to me, I will teach you yoga, I will teach you some kriya, and you can become enlightened and you can improve your health. This is the propaganda made by the modern so called yoga teachers. But actually, yoga means to control one's senses and mind. In Bhakti Yoga, sense control and mind control is very easy. We just have to fix our mind on chanting and hearing attentively the holy name of the Lord. We have to engage all our senses in the service of the Lord. By so doing, the restless mind and the senses become very easily controlled without extraneous efforts. So, the more we engage our senses and the mind in the service of the Lord, the more we can become self controlled. And the more we become self controlled, we will develop that consciousness with which we can understand Krishna and we can enter into a loving relationship with Krishna. So Bali Maharaj thought, okay, this boy is asking something very insignificant, so I will give, there is no harm. So he also did Sankalpa. He took a palmful of water in his hands and he uttered the Sankalpa mantras and he said, yes, I shall give you the 3 paces of land. Immediately, his guru, Shukracharya, he came and intervened. He said, what are you doing? This boy whom you are thinking is an ordinary Brahmana boy is none other than the Supreme Lord Vishnu himself. He has come to cheat you. Be careful. Even though you have already uttered the Sankalpa mantra and you have made a vow to give the charity, you can go back on your vow. There's no harm because it's an emergency situation. This boy, in the guise of taking 3 paces of land, he will take away everything that you possess. From Karodpati, you will become a Rodpati overnight. So Shukracharya warned, but Bali Maharaj did not listen to Shukracharya. Instead, Bali Maharaj said, it will be a great infamy for me and my family if I go back on my words. If you are saying that this is the Supreme Lord himself who has come, then I am so fortunate. I will definitely fulfill the wish of the Supreme Lord Vishnu, the Lord who cannot be seen even after intense tapasya by great devotees, has come to my doorstep. I am so fortunate. Therefore, I will not go back on my words, Bali Maharaj said. And then at that time, Shukracharya becomes very angry. And Shukracharya, because of disobedience on the part of Bali Maharaj, Shukracharya curses Bali Maharaj that very soon you will lose all your wealth. This is my curse upon you. Even at that time, Bali Maharaj was not agitated at all. Right? This is the symptom of a pure devotee. Right? So let us see what happened next. Despite his knowledge that Lord Vamanadeva was cheating him, Bali Maharaj gave everything to the Lord in charity, and thus the Lord extended his body, and assumed a gigantic form as Lord Vishnu. After hearing the instructive advice of Shukracharya, Bali Maharaj became contemplative. Because it is the duty of a householder to maintain the principles of Dharma, Artha, Kama, Bali Maharaj thought it improper to withdraw his promise to the brahmachari. To lie or fail to honor a promise given to a brahmachari is never proper, for lying is the most sinful activity. Everyone should be afraid of the sinful reactions to lying, For Mother Earth cannot even bear the weight of a sinful liar. The spreading of a kingdom or empire is temporary. If there is no benefit for the general public, such expansion has no value. Previously, all the great kings and emperors expanded their kingdoms with a regard for the welfare of the people in general. Indeed, while engaged in such activities for the benefit of the general public, eminent men sometimes even sacrificed their lives. It is said that one who is glorious in his activities is always living and never dies. Therefore, fame should be the aim of life. And even if one becomes poverty stricken for the sake of a good reputation, that is not a loss. Bali Maharaj thought that even if this brahmachari, Vamanadeva, were Lord Vishnu himself, if the Lord accepted his charity and then again arrested him, Bali Maharaj would not envy him. Considering all these points, Bali Maharaj finally gave in charity everything he possessed. Lord Vamanadeva then immediately extended himself into a universal body. By the mercy of Lord Vamanadeva, Bali Maharaj could see that the Lord is all pervading and that everything rests in his body. Bali Maharaj could see Lord Vamanadeva as the supreme Vishnu, wearing a helmet, yellow garments, the mark of Srivatsa on his chest, the Kaustuba jewel, a flower garland, and ornaments decorating his entire body. The Lord gradually covered the entire surface of the world, and by extending his body, he covered the entire sky. With his hands, he covered all directions, and with his second step, he covered the entire upper planetary system. Therefore, there was no vacant place where he could take his third step. So, Bali Maharaj contemplated a lot, and then he decided that he will give charity because he thought that Mother Earth cannot bear the weight of a liar. If I go back on my words, I will become a liar. Lying is a very sinful activity, right? The modern day leaders and general people should learn from Bali Maharaj the value of being truthful. Lord Krishna, in the 17th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, highlights this when he talks about austerity of speech. He says one should always speak truthfully. So, Bali Maharaj says, in the past there were great kings who, for the sake of keeping up their promise, they gave up their life itself. Shibi Chakravarti, a king in the Surya Vamsha, he did this, right? To save the pigeon, he cut off the flesh from his own body and gave it to a vulture. Satya Harishchandra, who was also a king in the same Surya Vamsha, for the sake of keeping up the word of honor that he had given to Vishwamitra Rishi, he actually sold his wife, his child, and himself in the marketplace. So this is the value of keeping up one's promise. So Bali Maharaj said, I want to keep up my promise. And if, as you are saying, Shukracharya, if this is Lord Vishnu himself, then it is even more glorious for me. So saying this, he gave the charity. So this is where one important lesson for us. A guru is supposed to teach the disciple how to surrender to the Supreme Lord. But if the same guru is telling, don't surrender to the Supreme Lord, such a guru at once has to be rejected. He is not a bona fide guru at all. This is what Bali Maharaj is teaching us. And then Vamanadeva assumed the huge Trivikrama form, universal form. With his two footsteps, he covered the upper planetary systems and the earthly planet. So the entire universe was actually covered by the footsteps of the Lord. Now, Bali Maharaj, Vamanadeva did not have a place to keep his third footstep. So Bali Maharaj said, please keep it on my head, O my Lord. And finally, Bali Maharaj was told by Vamanadeva to go to the Sutala planetary system, the lower planets, which are actually designated for the demoniac people, demons to stay. And he said, please be there. And since you have completely surrendered to me, I shall be personally present as the doorkeeper of Sutala Loka in your palace. I shall personally be present. You shall see me 24/7. So from this two learnings, First of all, surrendering to the Lord means to give up both mama, mamakara, and ahankara. Mamakara means mine. Oh, it is my wealth, my kingdom, my family members, my this, my that. One has to give up that. So, first of all, Bali Maharaj gave up all his possessions. That is Mamakara. Then, when for the third step, when he told, please keep your third step on my head, then Bali Maharaja surrendered himself, that is Ahankara, to give up false ego of oneself being, a prominent person. So, surrendering to the Lord means to give up both attachment to the things pertaining to this body and engaging the body and the mind itself in the service of the Lord. So Bali Maharaj is a Mahajana because he's teaching us the perfection of surrender to the Supreme Lord. Another important lesson that we learn from this Vamana Leela is that when you give something to the Lord, you are not at all the loser. In the eyes of materialistic people like Shukracharya, Bali Maharaj was definitely a loser and a foolish person. But actually, he was the greatest gainer because by giving away everything that he possessed, he got the Lord Himself. The Lord Himself personally was present with him in the Sutala planet as the doorkeeper, as the protector of Bali Maharaj and his kingdom there. So when we give something to the Lord also reciprocates with us accordingly. So Prabhupada says, one who gives to the Lord is never a loser. Tomorrow is Akshaya Tritiya, a very wonderful occasion to meditate on this particular pastime of Sudama Brahmana being blessed by Lord Krishna in Dwaraka. So, being poverty stricken, being told by his wife, Sudama went to Dwaraka to see the Lord. He didn't want to personally ask anything from the Lord because he knew that the Lord knows everything. I don't have to tell anything. But because his wife was telling, insisting, so he went. But he went with a palm full of chipped rice, and Lord Krishna accepted this simple offering of Sudama because it was filled with love and devotion. And he took the chipped rice, and in turn, he gave him, blessed him with boundless fortune. So, Akshaya Tritiya is a day to remember this wonderful reciprocation of Lord Krishna. When you give something to the Lord, you are never the loser. Even materially speaking, you will be blessed with the material wealth also. What to speak of spiritual advancement. So, therefore, tomorrow on the day of Akshaya Tritiya, at your homes, at your places, try to prepare a humble offering with chipped rice and offer to Lord Krishna, to Dwaraka Disha, and pray to him, my dear Krishna, please give me the Akshaya, the unlimited wealth of your devotional service. I do not want anything else. Please accept this offering and give me the wealth of devotional service. So, with this, we come to the end of today's session. We shall meet again in the next session. Thank you so much for joining me. Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Jagat Guru Vishwa Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.